Welcome back to CoachTrick, where magic meets inspiration and success. In this tutorial, we take a look at 5 incredible self-working card forces that will leave your audience stunned. Unlike many traditional forces that require difficult moves or complex sleight of hand, these forces are incredibly easy to perform, making them perfect for magicians of all skill levels. Equipped with these convincing yet easy to perform forces, you'll be able to effortlessly guide your spectator to choose a specific card for incredible predictions and revelations. As we delve into the secrets, we'll also take a moment to reflect on the broader significance of learning magic and the wider success it can bring. So be sure to stick around for the usual inspiring message. Get ready to be amazed and inspired. Grab a deck and let's go. Okay, so let's take a look at these 5 self-working card forces. The first thing to say is that these really are self-working. There's no difficult or hidden moves, so there's nothing that can go wrong. For consistency, we're going to force the same card each time, the 9 of hearts, so we'll keep a duplicate 9 of hearts just over here as a reminder. Okay, so the first 3 of these are going to build on each other and add in increasing elements of misdirection and convincingness. So here's the first force, the one cut force or the turnover force. The most basic of all, you're going to ask the spectator just to cut the deck wherever they like, to turn the top half over, place it back onto the deck, then to turn over the whole deck and to spread the cards until they get to the first face down card, the point at which they cut the deck. And this card will be the 9 of hearts. Now this is the simplest of all, really basic, and all that happens here is the 9 of hearts starts on top of the deck. Now as they make the cut and they turn this half over, this is all that happens. As they now turn the entire deck over, the top card, the 9 of hearts, is obviously just going to be the first card that they get to when fanning through, and that is the first force. The second force is the cut deeper force or the double turnover force, and this builds on the first force because instead of making 1 cut, we're going to make 2 cuts, hence the name. So ask the spectator just to cut a small packet off and to turn it over and place it back on the deck, and then to make a larger cut, a bigger packet, and to cut that off, to turn it over and place it back on the deck. Now when you spread through the cards, we can ask the spectator to take the first face down card, the point at which they cut the deck, and this will indeed be the 9 of hearts. So this works in much the same way as the first force, but just with an extra cut. And again, starting with the force card, the 9 of hearts, on top. So when the spectator makes their first small cut and they turn this pack over, that turns the force card face up. And when they make their second larger cut and they turn this pack over, that turns the force card face down again, just there. So when they spread through the cards in order to get to the first face down card, that is indeed going to be our force card, the 9 of hearts. So on to the third force, and if you really want to add in even more misdirection, then you can do something called the rollover force, and you'll see why it's called the rollover force in just a moment. So this time you're going to ask the spectator to cut a small packet of cards and to turn theirs over and to place them back on the deck, to make a second cut, a bigger cut, and to turn this pack over and place it back on the deck, and now to make a third cut. So we're really mixing things up. Again, a bigger cut this time, but a third cut, and again to turn this pack over and place on the deck. You're now going to ask them to take the entire deck and to turn the entire deck over, hence the rollover name. And now they can spread through the cards, and after all of that random cutting, they can take the first face down card that we get to, and this will indeed be our force card, the 9 of hearts. So with the rollover force, we're really just adding in extra cuts and a full revolution of the deck to make it even more convincing. And it works in much the same way with the force card, the 9 of hearts, starting on top of the deck. The first small cut turns the force card face up. The second larger cut turns the force card face down again. And then the final third and largest cut turns the force card face up again. So as we turn over and revolve the entire deck, the force card is going to be the first card that we get to, the 9 of hearts. Okay, number 4. For the next couple of forces, we're going to be using marker cards. And this is a force that Bob Longe calls the face-up force. And here's why. You're going to take the deck and you're going to give a marker card to the spectator and ask them to turn this card over and mark the top of the deck, just like so. And then ask them to cut off as much of the deck as they like to the table. So let's say they make the cut just there. You'll place the rest of the deck to the table. Then ask them to take their cut portion and to turn that over and to place it on the rest of the deck. You can now give them the deck, ask them to turn the entire deck over and spread through the cards in order to find their marker card just there, and then to select the card immediately after their marker card. And this will indeed be the force card, the 9 of hearts. So in this force, it looks as though there's much more going on and there's much more randomness than there actually is, because here's essentially all that's happening. The force card is on top, the 9 of hearts. You ask the spectator just to mark that position in the pack with the marker card. So the marker card is now directly on top of the 9 of hearts. And literally all that's happening is that you're replacing the rest of the deck on top of the marker card. So obviously now when you spread through the cards and you come to the marker card, the next card is going to be the top card, the 9 of hearts. However, this force is constructed in a way which disguises that simplicity. So once again, let's just take a look at what happens. Force card on top. The spectator will mark the top with the marker card. Ask them to cut off as much of the deck as they like. As you place the rest of the deck to the table, you turn over those cards. Ask the spectator to turn over their cut portion and to place that back on top, to turn over the entire deck. And now when you spread through, you get to the marker card. The next card is the 9 of hearts. Okay, number 5. This force is described by Bob Longe again as the do-it-yourself force. So once again, we're going to utilize a marker card, and the moves in this force are designed to disguise the simplicity of what's actually going on. So you're going to give the deck to the spectator and ask them just to cut off as many cards as they like. They can cut whatever they like. To take the next card, to turn it face up and place that onto the cut portion as the marker card, and then to complete the cut like so. They now take the deck and you ask them to look through the faces of the cards so that only they can see the cards, and to fan through until they get to the point at which they marked and cut the deck. So their marker card just here, and then to take the next card as their selected card. So in this instance, the 9 of hearts. So for this force, we're going to start with the force card, the 9 of hearts, on the bottom of the deck. Now when the spectator makes the cut, and they can cut the deck wherever they like, they're going to mark that position with the next card turned face up. Now as they complete the cut, that's simply going to place the force card, the 9 of hearts, directly on top of the marker card. So now when the spectator fans through the cards in order to find the position at which they cut the deck, There's the marker card. The next card directly after is going to be the Force card, the 9 of Hearts. And there you have it. As you've seen, mastering these self-working card forces opens up a world of possibilities for your magic repertoire. But beyond the realm of magic, remember that the skills you develop through learning and practicing magic can translate into success in all areas of life. So embrace the wonder of magic and let it inspire you to achieve greatness in whatever you set your mind to. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, keep practicing, keep moving forwards, and take care.